ufros aleinu uvoreinu v'chaim u'shalom me'ata v'ad olam. You have to wire it. Okay. And then we'll turn it off.
Rachel, you can grab a packet there. Here, you can sit right there, next to that. Next to that. I do need to go. Can I go potty after the class?
Oh, I want those doors. I don't check right.
I'm gonna turn this on. Hi, Arlene. Shabbat shalom. Hi, Sarah. Hello. Shabbat shalom.
Hello, Norma.
How are you?
It's fine, thank you.
Hi, Howard.
Sarah said hi.
Hi, how are you?
We're doing great.
Okay,
Oh, there it is. Okay, at least we're at the right place.
So the folks at home, we'll be doing the entire service from up here, so you might mute yourself.
Got the hiccups. Here. Take some water.
This is the cover. It's not a cover, but it's pages are on both sides. Like this. Yes, so Hebrew is going to start on the right, go to the left. And English is going to start on the right. On one side of the page, you're going to have Hebrew, on the other side, you're going to have English. And then on the Hebrew side, the column is out. What Hebrew means. On the English side, on the front end, there's the way you have other ways of saying same thing. Yeah, you can see red in the English, but it's not actually English words. That's transliterated. That's the Hebrew word in English sentence. So as people are singing along, probably where is the transliteration? So, or I read that. Welcome to reading. Welcome to reading. Will be meeting other players. We want to ask you the same thing that you have done for but if you want to try to sing along with other things that you have not yet done, you can use the translation to help you try
Very small. I hope that will have enough. I hope you have enough.
We're gonna solve the secret, so there's just a- These are sayings from a long time ago that tell some people it's good life. Like what I was doing in ordering services, is I like to look at 235 is going for a while. I like to think about those sayings and how they make you go. Yeah.
Oh, perfect. Wonderful. Wonderful.
Saturday, come back Saturday morning. Friday night is not all. But it's, you feel a little on something.
The beginning. Okay. I'll try to remember this.
We're ready to go. And we're going to go ahead to the activity for a few minutes while we're all right, so now for you.
Shabbat Shalom. Good evening. Welcome to Temple Har Zion. It's good to see everyone and to be able to have a sharing Shabbat again. It's been since the pandemic, we haven't been able to have one. And this became a tradition before the pandemic, and been going on for really a while between our neighboring communities. And even our connection goes further back than that. We have a history. In 1994, right here in this building, there was a historical convocation between Jewish leaders and the Evangelical Lutheran Church of America, organized by the clergy at the time. And I remember the night that we had a solidarity Shabbat. This was after the shooting at the Tree of Life Synagogue in Pittsburgh, that there were so many members from Grace Lutheran who came to this building along with the wider community, and we had a big, joyful Shabbat, a Shabbat of resilience. And that brought us a lot of comfort. So it's been a few years, and we're just so grateful to be able to do it again, and to hear the voices of our children. And this year I wanted to mention that we missed Janelle Denon, who retired last year from Grace Lutheran. She was a longtime teacher who was one of the main forces behind this event. And we're so grateful to Johanna Johnson for continuing that tradition, and to from our side, Cantor Figa and Principal Schwartz and the teachers, and grateful to the clergy leadership of Grace Lutheran. So we have another tradition, and that tradition is for me to share just a few short words about Shabbat before we begin. And so what is Shabbat? Shabbat for us, the Sabbath, is, especially the Friday night, is the religious highlight of the week. We come together, we have a festive meal. Before the meal, we light the candles to usher in the Sabbath, Shabbat. We sing songs welcoming in the angels of Shabbat. We have a long meal, and many who have the custom of unplugging from devices, which might be the most important part of it, during Shabbat dinners. And then one can always add more. There's more and more rituals. There's songs that one can do. There's a long grace after meals that some do. And that's the beginning of a 25-hour period of Shabbat, in which Jews just try and relax and enjoy a day of rest. The most traditional observance is to refrain from all work, from all acts of creation, and that could be no cooking, no washing, no washing clothes, even no electricity or putting everything on timers before, which is what the very observant usually do. In our community, it's a day of rest, a day for taking walks, for coming to synagogue Friday night or a Saturday morning, and being with friends. Because it says in the Bible and in the Torah that God worked for 7 days. On the seventh day, God rested. And the actual words in the Hebrew is that God stopped, vayinafash, God took a deep breath. And it wasn't only that God was resting after a long week of creating the world in the story, but it was that God was also, according to some of our commentators, was bringing breath into the world, bringing spirit into the world, and the recognition that we need to take a break to bring spirit back in our lives every week. And the other element of the observance of Shabbat is to remember the exodus from Egypt. And so what does it mean to be free, to not be a slave as we remember that we were slaves in Egypt? It means you can have a day to really rest where nobody can force you to work. So I hope we all have spiritually refreshing weekends of finding spirit. And I'd like to thank all of you for coming once again. And so we begin our service with the lighting of the candles, and then we read a series of psalms taking us through the days of the week towards Lecha Dodi, which is the central prayer of our Friday night liturgy that welcomes the Shabbat bride. Now we light the candles.
It's on page 4. Let us turn to page 5. Peace to you, ministering angels, messengers of the Most High, sent by the sovereign of all sovereigns, the Holy One, whom we bless. Shalom Aleichem.
Shalom Aleichem, Malachi Hashem, Malachi Elyon, Melech Malchei HaMalachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Boachem leShalom, Malachi HaShalom, Malachi Elyon, Melech Malchei HaMalachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Baruch Hu leShalom, Malachi HaShalom, Malachi Elyon, Melech Malchei HaMalachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Seidechem leShalom, Malachi HaShalom, Malachi Elyon, Melech Malchei HaMalachim, HaKadosh Kadosh Baruch Hu. Our Psalms begin on page 11. Lechu neranena, lechu neranena, lechu neranena ladonai. Lechu neranena, lechu neranena, lechu neranena ladonai. Naria, naria, letzur yeshenu, negad mafanav betodah. Naria, naria, letzur yeshenu, Bizmirot naria lo, lechu neranena, lechu neranena, lechu neranena ladonai, lechu neranena, lechu neranena, lechu neranena ladonai. Let us go and sing to Adonai. Let us trumpet praise to our protector. Filled with thanks, let us greet God, raising our voice in song. Continue silently. Arba'im shana kud bedor ve'amaram to'el lebavem ve'hem lo yadu derachai asher nishbati v'yapim yivon el menuchati.
Let us turn to page 13. Continue silently to our second psalm. We'll pick up page 14, the second paragraph.
Bow to Adonai in the glory of his holy place. Tremble before God's presence, all who dwell on earth. Announce among the nations, Adonai reigns. The land is firm and will not be moved. The heavens shall be glad and the earth rejoice. The sea in its fullness roar. The meadows and all that grows in them exult. Even the trees of the forest shall sing praise as Adonai comes to judge the earth, judging lands with righteousness and peoples with divine truth. These words will be sung by our combined choirs, page 14 in the Hebrew. Yismechu hashamayim.
Yismechu hashamayim, hashamayim. Yismechu hashamayim, hashamayim. Yismechu hashamayim. Yismechu hashamayim, hashamayim. Yismechu hashamayim, hashamayim. Yismechu hashamayim. Yismechu hashamayim, hashamayim. Yismechu hashamayim, hashamayim. Yismechu hashamayim.
Turn to page 15 and please join me on the left-hand side. We'll chant, we'll say the paragraphs in the English responsively. Adonai reigns, let the earth be glad, and many distant lands rejoice.
Clouds and thick darkness surround the divine. Righteousness and justice secure God's throne. Fire goes before God, consuming besiegers round about.
Flashes of lightning illumine the land. The earth watches and trembles. Mountains melt like wax at the approach of Adonai, at the approach of the Master of all the earth.
The heavens howl God's righteousness,
All the nations, God's glory.
God's glory.
Continue on to page 16.
Orzaru al tzadik ul Yisrael lev simcha, simchu tzadikim b'Adonai, v'yodu lezecher korsho. Shiru l'Adonai shir chadash, ki niflaot asa, Hoshia lo yemino uzeroa kocho di Adonai Yeshuato, lienei agoyim gilat tzidkato, zachar chasdo be'emunato, leven Yisrael ra'u chol afsei haaretz, et Yeshuat Eloheinu, hariu l'Adonai kol haaretz, hitzchu v'ranenu v'zameru, zamru l'Adonai v'chinor v'kol zimrat, בחצוצרות בקול שופר, הריעו לפני המלך אדוני, ירם הים ומלואו, תבל ויושביה, נרות יבחרו כף, יחד הרים ירננו לפני אדוני כיבה, לשפוט הארץ, לשפוט תבל בצדק, ועמים במישרים, ידי Madonai malach yergezu amim, Yoshev kirovim tanutaretz.
Continue silently. We're on page 19, Psalm 99. Continue silently. Exalt Adonai our God and bow down at God's holy mountain, for Adonai our God is holy.
Romemu Adonai Eloheinu v'sachavu lehar kodsho ki kadosh Adonai Eloheinu.
Please rise. We turn to page 21, Psalm 29, a psalm about the divine voice thundering across the waters, the voice that shakes the world but also gives us the peace of the Sabbath.
Mizmor David, Avul Adonai Benelim, Avul Adonai, Kavod Vaoz, Avul Adonai Kivod Shemo, Ishtachavu Adonai B'yad HaKodesh, Kol Adonai Amayim, Et HaKavod Yirim, Adonai al Mayim, Mayim Rabim, Kol Adonai Bakoah, Kol Adonai Be'adar, Kol Adonai Shomer Arazim Vayeshaber Adonai Et Tarzei Alvanon Vayar Kitem Kemo Egel Levanon Vesirion Kemo Ben Remim Kol Adonai Chotzev Le'avot Esh Kol Adonai Yachil Midbar Yachil Adonai Midbar Kodesh Kol Adonai Yecholel Al Yalot Vayechesov Ye'arot Uvechalo Kulo Merkavod Adonai Lama Bul Yashavai Yishev Adonai Melech Leolam Adonai Oz Le'amo Yiten Adonai Yivarech Ramo Bashalom Ay, 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 ay Ay, 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 ay Ay, 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 ay
Please be seated. We turn to page 23, Lecha Dodi, a hymn that welcomes the Shabbat personified as a bride coming to bring life, to bring joy into our world. Page 23, Lecha Dodi.
Lecha Dodi likrat kala Pnei Shabbat nikavela Lecha Dodi likrat kala Pnei Shabbat nikavela Shamor v'zachor b'dibur echad Ishmi'anu el ha'miuchad Adonai echad u'shemo echad L'shem u'letiferet v'litehila Lecha Dodi likrat kala Pnei Shabbat nikavela Lecha Dodi likrat kala Pnei Shabbat nikavela Likrat Shabbat lechu v'nelcha Ki mikol habracha merosh mikedem nesucha Sov ma'aseh b'machshava techila. We go directly to the last stanza. On page 25, it's customary to rise for the greeting of the bride, Shabbat. Boy v'shalom ateret bala, gam b'simcha u'v'tzola, toch emunei am segula, boi chala, lecha dodi, likrat kala, pnei Shabbat
Please be seated. We turn finally to the Psalm for Shabbat, the last of our series that we will be doing tonight. Tov lehodot l'Adonai, and our joint choirs will be singing it for us. Page 27.
Yagir baboker chastecha ve'emunatecha balelot balelot.
Please rise. We shall turn to our call to worship, which we call the Baruch Hu, part of every service on page 39a.
Baruch hu et Adonai hamivorach. Baruch Adonai hamivorach leolam vaed.
Please be seated. This is the beginning of the second part of our service, the evening service, the Mariv service.
ומעביר יום ומביא לילה, ומבדיל בין יום ובין לילה, אדוני צבאות. קיים תמיד ימלך עלינו לעולם ועד, ברוך אתה אדוני, המעריב הרבים.
We're on page 40.
יבטך אל תסיר ממנו לעולמים, ברוך אתה אדוני, אוהב עמו ישראל. Page 41. Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. ואהבת את אדוני אלוהיך בכל לבבך ובכל נפשך ובכל מאודיך, והיו הדברים האלה אשר אנוכי מצווך היום על לבבך, ושיננתם לבניך ודיברת בם בשבתך בביתך ובלכתך בדרך ובשוכבך ובקומך וקשרתם להיות על ידיך והיו לטוטפות בין עיניך וכתבתם על מזוזות ביתך וישעריך. Page 42, the second and third components of this prayer comes from Deuteronomy in the middle, and we learn, therefore impress these words of mine upon your heart and upon your soul, bind them as a sign upon your hand and as a symbol above your eyes. Teach them to your children by speaking of them when you sit in your home, when you walk on your way, when you lie down and when you rise up. Inscribe them upon the doorposts of your home and on your gates. Vayomer Adonai el Moshe lemor. Ani Adonai Elohechem, אשר הוצאתי אתכם מארץ מצרים, להיות לכם לאלוהים, אני אדוני אלוהיכם אמת.
Continue after the Shema, which is our declaration of our faith. We turn now to page 43, then to 44, where we relive the crossing of the Red Sea after the slaves left Egypt, which is part of our liturgy twice a day. Continue silently, 43 through to page 44.
נאמר כי פדה אדוני את יעקב וגאלו מיד חזק ממנו. ברוך אתה אדוני גאל ישראל. And for our final bracha before the Amidah, page 45, we have a prayer that children will sing about comfort and sheltering under the canopy of peace. Hashkivenu, it's called. Ushmor tzedenu uvoenu lechaim u'shalom me'ata v'ad olam. Uferos aleinu sukat shilomecha, baruch ata Adonai, apore sukat shalom aleinu, v'al kol amo Yisrael, v'al Yerushalayim.
Please rise. We're on page 46, the verses about the Sabbath from the Bible.
V'shameru v'nei Yisrael et ha-Shabbat, la'asot et ha-Shabbat, lidorotam berit olam. Beini uven bnei Yisrael oti le'olam. Sheshet yamim asa Adonai et hashamayim v'et haaretz uvayom hashvi'i yitgadal Adivra kirute v'yamlich malchute v'chayechon uv'yomechon uv'chayerecho beit Yisrael Vagala, Uvizman Kariv Yimiru. Amen. Yesh Merabba Mevorach, Le'allam Lal Mehal Maya Yidbar. Yidbarach, Vishtabach, Vitvar, Vitrumam, Vitnase, Vitadar, Vitalev, Vitalal, Shemeru Kudusha, Richulela, Min Kol Birchata V'Shirata, Tushbechata V'Nechemata, Damiran Be'alma V'Yemeru.
Every one of our services has a prayer called the Amidah, which means the standing prayer. It's a silent prayer. One can follow the words, page 47 through to 52, or one can just take a few moments and minutes to meditate and contemplate.
May the words of my mouth and the meditations of my heart be acceptable to you, Adonai, my rock and my redeemer. Imrefi v'hegion libi lifanecha, lifanecha. Tsuri v'goali, Adonai tsuri v'goali.
Please be seated. So we're now going to have another song, Oseh Shalom, a prayer for peace. Our world is very much in need of peace right now. And following that, 3 songs in a row that will be sung by the students.
We present our children singing 3 songs.
I was feeling shalom right then.
I think we can applaud. It's
Yes,
okay.
yes, it was. Beautifully done. We come towards the end of our service. Come to our Kiddush on page 55. The Kiddush, every holiday, every Shabbat, we bless the day with a cup of wine and a blessing. Please rise.
Eloheinu melech haolam, borei peri hagafen.
Amen.
Baruch atah Adonai. Asher kiddushanu b'mitzvotav v'ratzavanu, b'shabbat kodsho b'yahava v'ratzon hinchilanu, zikaron le'maseh v'reshit, ki hu yom techila le'mikra'e kodesh, zecher litziat Mitzrayim. Kivano v'charta v'yotanu kidashta mikohamim v'shabbat kodecha v'yava u'v'ratzon inchaltanu Baruch atah Adonai Mekadesh HaShabbat.
Please be seated.
Shabbat Shalom. So when I was all of your age, I was living in France. I was born in Israel, but I grew up in France during those years. And I lived in a little village. And my two best friends were also not from the area. One of them was born in Saudi Arabia, where his father had been working, and the other was a refugee from Ethiopia. But even though they were my two best friends, they did not get along. Have you ever experienced that? So they were just very different people. One day I was tired of having to spend time with one or the other. So I invited them both over to finally spend time together. And at first it was awkward, but eventually they found a way to get along, which was by taking shots of me. But it convinced me that it is worth spending time and effort to bring people together. Because friendship is one of the most important parts of all of our lives, right? And sometimes it comes easily, and sometimes you just need a little push. And for us Jews, this is a unique time of our year. We had Passover, which was this year just at the same time as Easter. And Passover is when we commemorate leaving Egypt, when the Jewish slaves left Egypt free with all the miracles. And the last day is about crossing the Red Sea. But once they crossed the Red Sea, it wasn't the end of the story. They had to walk on to Mount Sinai. And we believe that took 49 days to walk from one to the other. And so we count 49 days from Passover to the holiday of Shavuot, which is the 50th day, which marks the revelation of Mount Sinai when we received the Torah. And every day is supposed to have a special quality and a special blessing. Now, you would think that this would be a really joyous time because you're thinking about revelation. But it is joyous, but it is also sad. And it's sad for an interesting reason. And actually, during these 49 days, there are some very observant Jews who do not cut any hair or shave for 49 days as a sign of mourning. And it's because we believe, this is a little slice of our history, that 2,000 years ago, there was a rabbi who was one of the greatest leaders of the Jewish people after the second temple was destroyed in Jerusalem. And he had a lot of students. His name was Rabbi Akiva. But he had a problem. His students did not get along with each other. And because they did not get along, they started to fight. And because they all started to fight with each other, everything they were trying to accomplish was in jeopardy. And then a plague broke out, and it just was not good. And the situation continued this way until on the 33rd day of the 49 days, which we call Lag BaOmer, something shifted for them, and suddenly they were together again, and the plague stopped. We have a tradition that 33rd day was, because we count that was when they left Egypt. On the 33rd day, they arrived at the foot of the mountain of Mount Sinai, and they began to encamp there. And then they became one people with one heart, ready to receive revelation. And so this is a time when we think about unity and friendship. So what is friendship? Friendship is being vulnerable with another person and sharing deep things with them. It's not always easy. There's so much that separates people in this world. What we believe, what we look like, what things we like, what kind of lives we live. When people refuse to get together, it's the whole world that suffers. But friendship can heal all of that and can heal the world. So Maimonides, who's one of our philosophers, teaches there are 3 levels to friendship. There's one friendship that's just a friendship of a certain opportune time. There's a friendship which gives each other mutual good feelings. And then there's the highest level of friendship when you share the same goal in life, when you feel you're walking on the same path. And we live in such a divided world of different opinions, of different ways of being, of walking in the world, of people with whom we do not easily get along. And in such periods, it's so easy to say, we don't need to be friends with so-and-so. Let somebody else be friends with them. But it's not true. It's precisely at that moment that it's more important than ever to reach out and find that you have something in common.
and to also help others find friendship and belonging. So may we all learn to speak and to connect with each other, to stretch ourselves, even when it's hard, to be friends with as many people as we can. May we learn to open our hearts and break down all the barriers between people everywhere. Shabbat Shalom. We'll now turn to the Aleinu prayer on page 56. Please rise.
And you guessed it, rise again. Aleinu לשבח לאדון הכל, לתת גדולה ליוצר בראשית, שלא עשנו כגויי הארצות, ולא שמנו כמשפחות האדמה, שלא שם חלקנו כהם, וגורלנו ככל עמונם. ואנחנו קוראים ומשתחווים ומודים לבני מלך מלכי המלכים הקדוש ברוך שהוא נוטה שמיים ויוסד הארץ ומשב יקרו בשמיים ממעל ושכינתו זו בגובה מרומים הוא אלוהינו אין עוד אין עוד אין עוד אין עוד ונאמר על כל הארץ ביום ההוא יהיה אדוני אחד ושמו אחד ושמו אחד ושמו אחד ושמו אחד.
We now turn to page 58. One of the last prayers of every service is a mourner's Kaddish. It claims life, but that we say to mourn our beloved ones who have passed. And every week we have anniversaries in our community of the passings of our beloved family members. And so this is a list of yard sites. It's called a yard site in our community this week. Roberta Jean Bacall, Ethel Blackman, Robert Blum, Thelma Bolleton, Fanny Brenner, Marjorie Kaditz, Pearl Cohen, Molly Ellman, George Federman, Ida Tuven Ginsburg, Lucille Glasspiegel, Samuel L. Greenfield, Oscar Herkis, Ida Hotismicki, Nathan Jaskalka, Charles Kahn, Dora Klein, Sheldon Krasnow, Harry Levin, Edward O'Hare, Ida Porter, Saul Rothstein, Julius Savitt, Rose Schiff, Robert I. Shub, Joshua Shapiro, Sam Steinberg, Bella R. Watman, Bernard Weinger, Evelyn Winnett, George Ann Zussman, Amato. So if you are observing a yard site this evening, or if you are in mourning, you can join me in the words of the Kaddish. On page 58. Yitgadal v'yitgadash shemei Rabba ve'alma divra kirute ve'yamlich malchute v'chayechon v'yomechon v'chayei dechol Beit Yisrael b'gala v'zman kariv ve'imru Amen. Yehi shmei Rabba mevorach le'olam omeh almaya. יתברך וישתבח ויפאר ויתרומם ויתנשא ויתהדר ויתעלה ויתהלל שמי דקודשה בריחו לעילה מן כל ברכתה ושירתה tush v'chata v'nechemata, damiran be'alma v'imru. Amen. Yehi shlama rabba min shemaya v'chaim aleinu v'akol Yisrael v'imru. Amen. Ose shalom b'mromav, hu yaseh shalom aleinu v'akol Yisrael v'imru. Amen. A very short announcement this evening. We have a wonderful concert here on Sunday at 4 p.m., a Grammy Award-winning children's artist. And since we have all of our friends from Grace Lutheran here, I'd like to invite you to join us if you would like to come to a great concert. That's Sunday afternoon. And if you like, there's more information on our website, or you can ask one of us and we can help connect you. And now I'd like to hand it over to our principal and our director of education, David Schwartz, to share a few words of thanks.
Good job, guys. You worked hard. It paid off. So thank you. Thank you for leading our service. Thank you for coming together, lending your voices. And thank you guys, to the parents, for making this happen as well. Thank you for bringing the kids. Thank you for making sure they got their education one way or another, and for being supportive. Thank you, Ms. Johnson. We couldn't have done this without you. And thank you, Cantor Figa, for your work in preparing the kids as well and being part of the process. Thank you, Rabbi. So after we sing Shalom Chaverim after this, to finish our service, then what's going to happen is the kids are going to go into the chapel, which is through those doors, and we're going to have about 15 minutes of getting to know you. We'll do a little activity. Parents, during that time, you are encouraged to do your own unstructured getting to know you. I have faith that you can figure this one out. And when that is done, then we'll have brownies and challah for you guys to take home with you. So I'll turn it back to the clergy for any last words, and then we'll do Shalom Chaverim.
Thank you, Mr. Schwartz. What a beautiful evening. It's great to be together. The theme is peace, shalom, but shalom also means hello. Shalom also means goodbye. What a wonderful word. And so we are going to conclude our service with an encore. I want an encore from these kids. And they're going to sing Shalom Chaverim. That means, in this case, shalom is goodbye, because we say lehitraot. We'll see you again. Here are the kids.
Shalom, shalom,
Please rise for our concluding blessing.
What?
On this special night, bless us all with friendship, bless us all with peace, bless us all with unity. And let us say, Amen.
Yivarechecha Adonai v'yishmerecha
Ein Yehi Ratzon.
Adonai bless and protect you.
Ya'er Adonai panav elecha v'chuneka.
Ein Yehi Ratzon.
Adonai's countenance shine upon you. May Adonai bestow kindness upon you.
Yisa Adonai panav elecha v'yasem lecha shalom.
Ein Yehi Ratzon.
Adonai's countenance be lifted towards you. May Adonai grant you peace. Shalom. Shabbat shalom.
I think brownies are involved in this. Challah and brownies.
Happened to Sarah. Sarah left with the challah. I guess we have no challah. Well, Shabbat Shalom, Toda Rabah, and Lahitраot, and Auf Wiedersehen. Yeah, Sarah left, so she's always the one with the challah, so I'll have to say goodbye.